Holy Father, we stand in your presence with a desire to honor you in worship. We thank you, Master, for another day. We thank you for the preservation that you've given us to see this day with its brand new mercies. And we ask you, Lord, strengthen us to find that place of peace as we operate in this day. We claim victory, Master, for the peace and the healing that only comes through you. Show us how to use wisely that which you have granted us. In your name we pray. Amen. Good morning. Good morning. I am grateful for the privilege to share with you this morning as we look at the idea of how do I seek him in times like this? How do I seek him in times like this? The world is staggering from the physical punch from this virus. It is reeling on the ropes as our consciousness is knocked to the floor as a result of not having any physical properties that point us in a direction of how long, how severe, and how captivating this thing is. It's been around a while, they say. It's been quiet. It's been dormant. We read something the other day in the book of Judges, where God said, I've been quiet. I haven't said a thing. But now I'm speaking. I mentioned that because there were those who think that because God ain't saying nothing, that he is not being active. I stopped to share with you, God's been talking. We are in a place because we haven't been listening. I'm not suggesting that we need to be upset with God. I'm suggesting that we need to be thankful to him that he has been this patient. Hello? Amen. With each of us. And his desire, even in the midst of this thing, this plague, this virus, in the midst of this issue, his desire is that we live and be at peace. Our God isn't joking when he says, I know my thoughts for you. And my thoughts for you are for your good and not evil. I need us to understand that Paul wasn't just filling up a page when he said to live is Christ, to die is gain. The irony is, as much as I recognize heaven as a better place, I'm not really in a hurry to get there. I'm kind of satisfied in this present state. I do know that eyes have not seen. I do know that ears have not heard. And that it hasn't entered into the imagination of humanity what good things God has reserved for the children of light. I recognize that to be a fact, but I stand here sharing with you. I still need to seek how to honor him in this. Oh, I wish you could hear this. I need you to understand that where we are is not a place we've been before. And one of the things about us as social beings, we tend to relish ourselves and relax ourselves in, well, this is something I've done before. This ain't new. We've been here before. I stopped to share with you, it is new.
Amen.
We have not been here before. But I know somebody who has. And in spite of what we haven't experienced, in spite of where we haven't walked, in spite of what we have not done, we are children of a God who has no limit on what he is and what he is going to do. He says, seek me early. And he wasn't necessarily talking about 3 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the morning. He's talking about early in your being.
All right.
That's why he said to the parents of those boys in early Judaism, he said, teach it to them as you walk. Talk about it as you go in and come out. Write it over the doorpost. Put it on a necklace and hang it about their necks. Keep it ever before them as children, so that as they grow up, it'll grow up in them. Hello?
All right, Pastor.
He wasn't joking when he said, train up a child in the way that, because there's going to come some things, there's going to be some temptation that knock on their door that's going to interest them, going to pique their excitement, and they're going to seek after stuff that makes for pleasurable living. He said, but if you train them right, if you teach them right, they have a foundation to come back to. Hello? The irony is, it's not that the children are so wicked. It's not that the children are so bad. It's that we fail to put it in. What you fail to put in will show up in the residue. When we've gone as far up Fool's Hill as we can go, and you have not put a foundation for me to come back to, I fall back to the bottom and I start back up again. And it seems that we just keep repeating the same things because there's nothing solid to find, to root our feet, to stand on, to find a foundation that does not give away. If you put your foundation, if you put your hopes in money, all that has to happen is the value of it fall. Had a young man who a few days ago was boasting, excited about the fact that he had made some wise investments and the returns had put him in a new bracket. He was no longer straining and struggling with a few $1,000s. He was now handling millions. And he was excited about it until the other day when the stock market fell. His words were, I was.
All right, Pastor.
Hello?
All right, now.
I stopped by to share with you what you got ought not to be measured by what the rest of the world does. It ought to rest in the fact that God gave it. This promotion is from Him. This life that I'm living is ordained by Him. And I rejoice in the fact that He trusts me to represent Him in living. Well, what about the fact that there are some with so much? One of the things you need to remember is that we seek Him because we desire the kind of place that does not need us to keep trying to do something to make it pleasant. We're looking for a place that wasn't built by man's hand. We're looking for a place that is the result of a loving God's construction based on the fact that it's what He wants for us. How do I seek it? Do I seek it in His Word? His Word is a good place to start, but I stop out to share with you just seeking His Word for the sake of the Word is not what God wants us to do. He says, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman. Hello?
All right now.
The only reason we ought to spend time studying is that we might put our hands to more work. The only reason we need to understand more about what the book commands is because we're willing to do more to see what to have what he commands produce fruit. Paul says, I'd much rather be with him in glory, but I recognize that you need me to keep producing fruit so that you can grow. Stop by to share with us this morning that if in the midst of this if we are not growing, hello? If we're not becoming better, and there are some who say, how can I become better when I'm so bitter? How can I become better when I'm hurting so deeply? How can I become better when this thing has knocked all of my resources out of my hand? I'm not able to handle it. I stop by to share with you. One of the problems may be that you have had it in the wrong hands all the time. What do you suggest? I'm suggesting what Matthew 6 suggests. I think it's 29. Let's see. Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. One of the ironies of good living is that most folk think that it's only good when I don't have any struggles. I stop by to share with you that you wouldn't be able to glorify God if everything was pleasant all the time. What do you say? I've heard some folks say, hey preacher, just give me a chance to try it. I think I could be pretty good if I had everything I wanted in my hand. I stop by to share with you that only God knows what you need. We know what we want, but our wants will not satisfy the necessity for the things that lie before us. What God does is prepare us for what's coming next. The storm you just got out of has equipped you for the storm you're fixing to embrace. The thing you just got through dealing with broke your heart in two and left you in pieces. It did not destroy you because God wants you to pick up the pieces and allow him to put them back together again. I stop by to share with you, if God fixes it, hello? And if God can't fix it, the doctors, the lawyers, the legalists will not be able to put together a program that will sustain what God hasn't fixed. I need you to know that he's saying, seek ye first. On top of your list, make my kingdom your priority. He said, and I don't want you to just do it because it's consciously something that you're willing to try. He said, I want you to do it with your whole heart, soul, and I want you to get after me with everything in you. He said, I don't want you to casually have, I don't want an affair with you. I want a relationship. You know, a whole bunch of us satisfied with just getting a few goosebumps every now and then, feeling real religious every now and then, feeling kind of churchy. And I think that's one lady that sings something about she was all churched out. I stopped by to share with you. It's real easy to get churched out. When all you have is emotion. when all you have is feeling, and faith doesn't produce any fruit. You of all men are most miserable.
Well,
So what are you suggesting to me? I'm suggesting that our quest to know Him needs to come from a diligence that comes from only Him. He's the only one that can wake up the kind of hunger in you that will make you dig deep enough to see yourself in the mirror of His Word. It's real easy for me to point a finger at Brother Pfeiffer for being my problem. But when I point the finger and it doesn't reflect me, I miss the reason for pointing the finger.
all right.
What do you mean? When I point at you, I got 4 digits
All right, Pastor.
turned back in my direction,
Right.
which says that I need to work on me more than seeking somebody to comply with me.
Yes.
All right.
I need to let God do a work in me that calls me to seek God's face and not approval from man.
Show you right.
It's important, it's important for us to know that it's in our diligence that we find the hope of restoration. We need to recognize that our prayer meeting, if it's not a labor of love, it may just be words.
Well,
We need to recognize that God is looking for in each of us the kind of representation that will allow Him to be magnified. That even in the midst of the darkest hour, our chant ought to be God is able.
all right. All right.
When everything else fails, just because we know God at a level where we say, I trust you, even though I feel the pain of your absence, I trust that you're not leaving me alone. That
All right.
in the near future, there's going to be a hand that reaches and get me
All right.
and raise me out of the muck and the miry clay and set me on a solid foundation
Yes.
to stay. No matter how dark it may seem, no matter how bleak it may be, seeking Him still is our best option.
Amen. Amen.
So what somebody comes up with a cure from something as simple as a bitter weed. They didn't find it on their own.
Show you right.
God revealed. Somebody says George Washington Carver came up with all these things from the peanut. No, God showed him
Sure, all right.
all these things from the peanut. And there are those who look at you and say, how can they be happy with all that's going on around them? They don't know who you trust.
All right. All right.
Yeah, it's dark. It's a bleak moment in history. But I stand to share with you, the man who is the light is still holy.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Show you right.
Seek Him while He may be found. Somebody said, why is that important? Because there's a day coming when He's not going to hear you.
All right. All right.
There's a day coming when your cry is going to be a source of laughter for Him.
All right.
There's a time coming when you and your deliberate ignorance of His will and His way is going to bring you to a place where the knowledge that you have of Him is going to fail you.
All right. Well,
Is it because He's not able? No, ma'am. No, sir. It's not because He's not able. It's because He has chosen to let you have it your way.
well, all right.
The world says He can't. His children say He can't. The world says He won't. His children say He does. The world says you don't have the right to do this. You don't have the right to say this. His word says I can trust Him when I can't trace Him.
All right.
I encourage you this morning, don't frustrate yourself about looking for what seems right. If the Spirit of God tells you to stay at the house, you need to stay at the house.
All right. All right.
If the Spirit, with the Spirit, the Spirit of the Lord will tell you to do what's right for you.
All right.
And you can trust God when you hear God.
All right.
Somebody said, well, how you going to hear him in a time like this? Well, his sheep know his voice.
All right. Amen.
You may have just identified your whole problem.
Show your right.
His sheep know his voice, and another they will not follow.
All right, that's right.
Worshiping him is not just a choice, it's a responsibility for those who know him.
Yeah.
It embarrasses a child of God to ask God for something else when they haven't praised him for what he already did.
All right. That's all right.
Shouting about what's going to happen while you haven't said thank you for what he has done.
Thank you. All right. All right.
Our God loves us. And he says, if my people,
That's all right.
there's some folks that ain't here, y'all.
Show your right, Pastor.
If my people who are called by my name will get themselves out of the way.
All right. All right.
Because it's virtually impossible for you to put yourself in the back seat when you're so fearfully and wonderfully made.
All right. All right.
You didn't steal that. You are what you are because you're made in his image
That's all right.
and in his likeness. But you don't have to pretend that you God Jr.
All right. All right.
You need to recognize that you are fearfully and wonderfully made and get yourself out of God's way and let God have preeminence.
Right.
Show your right.
It was out on a hill called Calvary. They were seeking to kill a man who had already chosen to die. They nailed him to the cross. They hoisted him high. In the absence of any defense on his own part. The editor's comment in the local communication of the Chronicles of the day said they killed him. But the truth declared he gave up his life. He hung his head and died while men sought to embarrass him. The cross was to shame him. The cross was to embarrass him to the degree that he'd hang his head in shame and be slaughtered. But he left his head in pride and declared to the Father, I commend my spirit back to you. Hung his head and died. What they sought, they missed. While one of the thieves looked and said to him, when you get to paradise, get home to paradise, remember me. He stopped dying, and it granted him the privilege of knowing, this day you shall be with me in paradise. I share that with you this morning because if you're seeking hope in the midst of despair, I know a man.
All right, now.
All right.
If you're looking for help in a time of helplessness, I know a man.
All right.
If you're looking for light in a dark place, is there anybody in here who know a man
Yes.
who declared, I am the light of the world?
Yes.
I know a man who will lighten your dark path.
Yes.
His name is Jesus. Paul says, as often as you bring to memory his life and his death, you do it in remembrance of what he's done for us. Seek him with your whole heart, your whole mind, your whole being. And do it with diligence.
All right.
Hello? When they seek him, they need to seek him with the determination that I'm going to get after you and stay after you until you reveal yourself to me. You remember Jacob the trickster? He was beaten by an angel of God. His hip was out of joint. He was tore up from the floor up. He was defeated. And at daybreak, the angel said, "Hey, what are you still fighting for? You already lost the battle." He said, "Yeah, but I'm going to hold you till you bless me."
All right. All right.
I know I'm beat. My body shows the results of me being beat. But I'm going to hold you till you bless me.
All right.
I stop out and share with you. Seek him with diligence until he blesses you. Keep your eyes on him until he's revealed to you the pattern and the plan that he has for you. My thoughts are for your good. That's what he said. I know the virus is killing folk, but I need you to understand that I am life
Yes.
That's all right.
and I'm your way.
Yes.
Put your trust in me.
Amen.
Trust him in the midst of the storm.
Yes.
Shout now,
Yes.
because the storm will not be able to destroy what God has established.
All right.
The virus can't take what God has given.
All right.
Your life is an optional thing.
All right.
I said earlier, I'm not in a hurry to try the other side. But if it should happen,
All right.
I've already got a ticket to the ride.
All right.
If the call should be made and my number is in the call, I'm not concerned about staying here as much as I am about having a place already prepared for where he is. There we will be also.